Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss the new chapter in The Kingdom of Fools by A.K. Ramanujan. This is a story by A.K. Ramanujan that highlights the fact that in a kingdom of fools, people's lives can be in danger as the king and his ministers were brainless and did not do things in a normal manner. It is a place where everything is in reverse and justice is not given. So, students, let me give you a brief summary of this chapter, which is a very humorous one and it also conveys a nice moral lesson to all of you. Stupid order followed in the kingdom of fools. The king and his minister in the kingdom of fools were stupid. They ordered that night should be treated as day, and all the people should work at that time. They should go to bed as soon as the day broke. The orders were followed by the people under the fear of being put to death if not followed. Guru visits the kingdom along with his disciple. Disciple means follower. Once the Guru and his disciple came to the kingdom during the day, finding it beautiful but totally deserted. Deserted means empty. Everyone, including the animals, was asleep. They were tired and hungry but could not get anything to eat till the evening when the whole place woke up and came to life. When the Guru and disciple bought some food items, they surprisingly found that everything, whether it was the bunch of bananas or a measure of rice, cost the same, one dudu, the local currency which was followed in the kingdom of fools. Now let us see what happens next. Guru leaves the city, but the disciple remains in the city. The wise Guru realized that they were in a kingdom of fools and it would not be safe to stay there. So he suggested his disciple that they should leave the place at once. But the disciple was fond of food and found it very cheap to stay on. The Guru left. Soon the disciple grew very fat by eating to his fill. Incident of theft in rich merchant's house. One day, a thief broke into the house of a rich merchant to steal his valuables by breaking a wall. But as he was going out with the stolen stuff, the old wall fell on him and killed the thief. The brother of the thief complained before the kings that the owner of the house was to be blamed for the death of his brother and demanded justice. The king heard the case and the merchant was found guilty because his house's wall collapsed and killed the thief. The blame game continued. So, students, we are going to find out in the story that how this blame game keeps going on in this chapter. The merchant blamed the bricklayer who built the wall, as it was thought that his bad workmanship created a weak wall. But the bricklayer was very smart. He put the blame on the dancer who distracted him when he was making the wall by passing in front of him a dozen times during the day, resulting in poor quality of the wall. Now even the dancing girl was smart enough. So she accused the goldsmith, who called the dancer time and again to deliver the jewelry she had asked to be made, but did not deliver it on time, leading to the distraction of the bricklayer. Now the goldsmith blamed the merchant's father, as he had been making the urgent delivery for him, thus delaying the finishing of the dancer's jewelry. Now, as the father was dead, the merchant was finally pronounced guilty, as he had inherited all the wealth as well as the bad deeds of his father. Now, disciple fell in trouble and Guru tricked to save him. Now, let us see what happens. A new stake, that is, a wooden post on which criminals are tied for being executed, was built for the execution of the merchant. But the merchant was too thin to fit the stake. So the king ordered to search for a fatter man to fit the stake, and the disciple was brought for execution. Why? Because he has grown very fat because of eating a lot in that kingdom of fools, and his head was, quite able to fit at the stake. Then he remembered his guru's words and wished that the guru was there. As the Guru had magical powers, he appeared at once and explained a plan quietly to the disciple to escape the execution. So, Guru immediately appeared in front of the disciple in order to save him. The Guru and his disciple started fighting amongst themselves to decide who should be executed first. So, this was the plan made by Guru and the disciple. When the king asked them why they were fighting, the Guru explained that the new stake was the stake of God of justice, and whoever was executed first on it would be reborn as a king, and whoever was executed next on that stake would be reborn as a minister. Now, the king and ministers ultimately die. The puzzled king, believing what the Guru said, as he was a big fool, so he believed what the Guru told him, discussed the matter with his minister, and decided that if they themselves were executed on that stake first, they would be reborn as king and minister. So they freed the Guru and disciple and secretly planned to die on the stake the same night. Now, let me discuss with you the concluding part of the story. Guru and disciple ultimately became the king and the minister. The dead bodies of king and minister were taken down. The people mourned their deaths and requested the Guru and his disciple to become the king and minister of the kingdom. The Guru and disciple agreed on the condition that they would change all the laws back to the normal laws of any other kingdom. Thank you.